Now, last night I was on Fox Business with Cavuto to talk about jobs and the expansion of the federal government and the fact the president can't make good on both promises to cut the deficit and not raise taxes on Americans making over $250,000. Had I known about this Toyota thing with Ray LaHood and the UAW, I would have begged to talk about it last night. Joining us on the program right now is Stuart Varney from the Fox Business Channel. Hello, sir.
Andrew, hello to you.
How's Varney and Company doing?
Varney and Company is off to a very good start. We're real happy, and we're going places.
I love the Fox Business. I'm glad that Fox News got into the 24-hour business news thing because it really is great.
Well, look, business news has not been well presented in the past. I think it's far too technical, too full of jargon, confuses people, sometimes deliberately. It's highfalutin. I don't like it. I want issues-oriented business news, news that everybody can relate to about your money. That's what we're doing on Varney and Company. Now,
Fox Business is all over this Toyota thing, and I made a prediction on this program. As soon as the story broke, that there was going to be this recall, I said, you just wait until the Obama administration uses this to pressure Toyota to accept the UAW. And then lo and behold, the Wall Street Journal has a piece mentioning today that the UAW is right now in Washington complaining about Toyota's lack of UAW.
Well, the most disgraceful thing is Ray LaHood, Transportation Secretary, about a couple of hours ago, maybe 90 minutes ago, coming out and saying, look, if you own a Toyota and you own one of the models that's going to be recalled, don't drive it. Keep it in the garage. Now, that is outrageous. If Secretary LaHood has positive proof that these things are indeed dangerous, then he should go to the National Highway Traffic Administration and say so and get them to keep him in the garage. It is not for a cabinet minister to grind the axe of Detroit, grind the axe of the UAW, badmouth a private sector company and tell them to keep their products off the road. That's entirely wrong. This is completely politicized, and Ray LaHood is leading the charge, and it's wrong.
In a second, I'm gonna get you to help me compare this to health insurance, and you're probably gonna wonder how I'm gonna do it. But I got something for you here. But before we get to that, looking at this, cars get recalled all the time.
Yes,
this is nothing new. Cars get recalled all the time for gas line problems, transmission problems, brake problems. The idea of a car company recalling a model or particular set of models is nothing brand new.
Well, look, they're really under attack, and it is a political attack because Toyota's always been the car company to go to. Best quality, best delivery, best price, you name it, they were going places, and the world's number one in terms of production. They were the ones who were just beating up on Detroit for 2 generations. Suddenly, there is a chink in their armor, a perceived significant safety problem, which may now extend to other models, the Prius included, and everybody jumps on them. Now, look, I'm all for safety, and I think you should have recalls when there is a safety issue.
Who's against safety? Who's running on that platform?
There's an element of politics here, and that is to the forefront. That's what's going on here, Andrew.
Now, you've said on this program that you left the UK because of the economy and the government's involvement in the economy.
That is correct.
Now, looking at this, I mean, here you have a brand, a car brand, producing products in the United States. Yes, the profits go back to Japan, but they hire thousands and thousands of American workers in right-to-work states. They make a product that Americans are choosing to buy. They make a quality product other than this little problem that can be easily fixed, according to Toyota. But in the grand scheme of things, like you said, Toyota makes a fine car. People want to drive it. It's affordable, and it's also, many of their models are made here in the United States. Now, the UAW is part of the Democratic Party. They were threatened to withhold their support for Obamacare if they had to pay the taxes. Obama's trying to pay back the UAW for their support for Obamacare and for all the money that goes the way of Democratic politicians. So now you've got the Transportation Secretary going after these people. You've got the UAW in Washington. You've got the federal government threatening to use the courts. I mean, we're hearing about the courts now. Every single lever of the federal government's being brought to bear on Toyota. Can you imagine if they were an insurance company competing against the public option?
Beat them up while you can.
Oh, by the way, the government owns General Motors, so they have a dog in this fight.
Oh, yes. Nobody's caring about the Toyota workers. non-union Toyota workers in the United States of America who produce Toyota models built and bought in the United States of America. Nobody cares about them. This is revenge time. You've got everybody piling in on Toyota because it is politically viable attack. That's what's happening here. I wonder if there's going to be a pushback from the other side. When it becomes apparent that the unions are driving this, that politics is driving this, that the Obama administration is driving this.
Well, wait. First of all, if you're just joining us, talking to Stuart Varney from the Fox Business Channel, his program is Varney and Company. How do you push back? Americans already pushed back on General Motors. They didn't buy them.
Don't they vote in non-union states where they see their companies, their employers, the Toyotas of this world, being clobbered politically in a politically motivated fight? They vote, don't they?
Yeah, but what about
the
Employee Free Choice Act is going to wash over them like a tidal wave?
That's maybe still to come. Right here and now, those people have a vote. They do have a voice, and they should make it known.
Now, are we seeing, did the government in the UK at the time you leave involve itself in any way the way we're seeing our federal government? People are believing that the federal government's going to enter into a particular market like health insurance or like automobile production, and they're just going to play like everyone else. They don't. They can't. The idea of competing is to try to hammer at your competition. If you've got the courts, if you've got legislation, if you've got cabinet ministers, if you've got the unions, you use everything you've got in your arsenal. You're the government. You can't fight the government.
I left the United Kingdom in the 1970s. When I left, the British government ran the automobile industry, flat out owned it, ran it. They set pay rates. They almost designed the cars that they were producing, for heaven's sake. That's why they never sold any. That's why ultimately they went totally out of business. They ran it lock, stock, and barrel. The same thing is happening here with General Motors. They say they're taking a hands-off approach. They are not. They're very much hands-on. They're going to say what kind of cars they want General Motors to make. They're going to say that the union has to be in there. They will set union pay scales. They'll do everything. They'll run it. This is government motors. Is going down that road. It'll never be a success.
Well, it just should be the shape of things to come if we go down this path. If you try to compete against the federal government, if you're an insurance company, they keep saying you can keep your insurance if you want it, not if the company goes out of business because the government forced it out of business.
Andrew, we're on that path, but the voters have seen it. They don't like it. In Virginia, in New Jersey, and in Massachusetts, they revolted against going down that path. There is hope, Andrew. There is hope.
Well, there is hope that people have had it with the government taking...
I think they have, Andrew. I really do. I think they've had it. They see massive deficits, massive spending, neo-socialism at the top. They don't like it. No, who likes this? Who is really going out there?
I will tell you. I will tell you this. I told this to Neil Cavuto, and I'll tell it to you. I told this to Arthur Laffer, and he took the term from me. It's what I call the zero liability voter. The federal government is growing the group of people who do not pay taxes. 40+% of Americans work but don't have any tax liability to the federal government. You have people that vote for spending increases knowing full well they're never going to pay for it. You have tax consumers. Now, tax consumers, not necessarily a pejorative. Government workers are tax consumers. But in the grand scheme of things, if you grow the government, you grow tax consumption. And then you've got the recipient class, the people who actually get the wealth redistributed to them. If the federal government can grow this class of people, they will have an unstoppable loyal voting bloc.
That's exactly what they are doing. That's exactly what they're trying to do. On this point, Andrew, you got it. You got it. But you cannot deny the results of the Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Virginia elections. You can't deny that.
No, maybe it's a good thing that the Democrats aren't paying attention to Massachusetts, New Jersey, or Virginia, because I'm following this Senate race, and Obama's banker now has apparently got the nomination.
Forgive me for saying it, Andrew, but I think you are underestimating the American character. I do. It's funny for an Englishman like me to be saying that to a good American like you. But look, I think you're underestimating the perception, the intelligence of the American voter. They see what's going on. They don't like it. They see that America is being bent towards the European way. They don't like it. Where are the people out there who are really gung-ho to make America like France? Where are they?
I told you who they are. The people who think that they're going to get something in return.
Yeah, but I don't think they could always vote like that. Granted, we've passed that tipping point where far more people don't pay tax than do pay tax. We are past that tipping point. You got it. But they don't always vote in the kind of interest that you're suggesting.
Okay, well, I
hope I'm right, and I hope you're wrong.
I think you are right. On a side and social note, I'll make you a deal. If I can elbow my way onto your program, I'll bring you a Capitalism is Boss coffee mug.
If you're not careful, Wilkow, you'll be on.
I want to be on, so we'll make that happen one day. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, Stuart Varney. His program is Varney and Company on Fox Business. And just on a side note, it's funny. When I was just a local broadcaster in upstate New York, he heard me and called and said, I'd like to come on your program. And that's how I got to know Stuart Varney. And people, for some reason, why is it people just sound smarter with a British accent? I don't know.